Hey folks, it's welcome to the stream. It's a Wednesday night and we're going to be doing some more work on our crafting. So with that in mind, we can take a look at what we have so far. Right? And that's exactly what we'll do. So as you can see, our buttons have disappeared on the left there, which is exactly what we want. We want the food to be able to craft, items to be able to craft. Now, the interesting thing about that is that we're going to need our food items in we need to fill the inventory grid as well, and actually we can just plug this in here. But the interesting thing is in our item types, databases, data tables, we've got food items, but this is now going to be slightly different. Right? Because basically we're going to have a new variable. We're going to have can be cooked. Right? So we're going to have a can be cooked. And then we're going to have to say what the recipe is. Okay? So from that point of view, we have recipes. Right? We have food types. Right? But what we need to know is if we have something similar to recipes. Okay? The other thing we need to know is these are interactive items, okay? So it's a BP interactable item. And we can swap this over in the main crafting thing, okay? Because they're both going to have the same thing. But what I'm heading towards now is the fact that we need like a recipes. Right. So what we want to do is we want to see from our widget main right, and we want to see not that from our crafting main, right, we want to see this. Okay. This is interactable items. Oh, we have got recipes. Okay. We have got a recipes table, which is great. I thought I did. And it's in our crafting. Okay. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we need something in our thing here, our main table, right? So let's do that first. Okay, and we shall put cooked pork. Right, and that's food. We'll say 0.25. Right, and we want, so let's say we want this. We'll just put the same thing here, right, for now. Okay. And we will say delicious cooked pork restores hunger and energy. Okay. Save that. Then this is going to be 19. That's 16. Right, so that's a recipe for an arrow shaft. And 15. So this is going to be cooked pork. $19. Output quantity 1. And the requirement is going to be pork. Which we haven't got yet, right? So we're going to have to add that. So I believe that is going to be pork, meat, that's going to be 20. It's going to be food, 0.25, paste, and we're not going to have that, we're going to have that. So we're going to paste that and save that. Right, where is our... We're going to have to do food types. Add. That's pork, meat, paste, and meat stick. The food value is going to be 10. Item type is food, use text as eat. We need to do that. Then this becomes pork, meat. Then we add another one. And that's cooked pork. Cooked pork. Paste that. And then we do stick again, do that, then we can say food value is 15, save that, in the description, and say tasty, tasty pork, you prepared earlier. Right, so that's 20. Right, so let's see if that appears in our and there it is. Right, once we get the right things, right, that's not going to work for now, right, but it definitely appears. And now, because it's not in the recipe, right, that's 19. Output quantity is 1. Requirements is 20 and 1. 10 seconds. Right. So we can check it out in here now. And that really shouldn't have worked. So we're going to stop that. Right, I don't know why I closed that down, because I still need it. Right. So, I do actually need to close it down, because we're going to have to go into a crafting widget, and it's a crafting item. And basically, it's this thing here. Right? So we're going to enable a breakpoint there. And we're going to see what this does. Okay. Right, so it's done that. So basically we're going in here. Right, to our progress widget. So we're going to have to stop this for now. Right. And my question has to be at this point, where are we checking to see if they've actually got the ingredients? That's what I'm looking for here. Right, because I don't think. Right, so let's. We've got fill crafting grid here. Back to event graph, right? And this is craft item. Right? And this is recipes. Okay. Cook. Click. Right? So we're expecting a craft item somewhere. And here's a craft item, right? So right, that's fine. And we're getting the item number 19. Right? So we're stepping over that. Has supplies. So that says no. Right, so once this is finished, it should say O's No's. So it does say O's No's. Right, so we know we can't actually do that. Right? So if you hit that button, we actually want to completely bomb out. This goes for both. Let me get a drink of my orange. This goes for both. Right? But just for argument's sake and testing purposes, what we'll do is we'll move our monster over there and we'll get Mr. Piggy. Right? And Mr. Piggy is going to go there. And we did open him up. I want to check that Mr. Piggy gives out what he should. Right, and it's that one there. So it's this one here. And we want to check out our deer or our stag. And that's got item row number 9. Right, so I'm expecting item row number 9 to say deer meat. Where is it? Deer meat is 4. Right, so what I want to see, so item 4 is deer meat, yeah, okay. So really what we want to see in our wildlife data we get the drops row name, and that's pig meat. Right, so in actual fact this is not pork meat. Well, that one is, but this one isn't. So that's pig meat. And we need that in the DT interactables as well. That's recipes. I'm going to close this down because this is a bit difficult to right, okay. So that's okay, pork, right? But the ones that we need to check are right, I'll tell you what we'll do. What we'll do is we shall find out what happens when we shoot it. And that's going to give us a much better idea of what's going on here. Okay. Right, so that gave us nothing. Okay. And that's because we're in dead animal territory. Okay. Right, so this is the skinning. Okay. Playing the montage. Blah de blah de blah. That switches it back, and this is actually food items row name. Right. And this is none. So it's basically this must be getting set up. Somewhere. So let's check the actual base. And there was nothing in there. Okay. So let's get our fox, remove that, right? And then we shall get our stag. Well, actually, yeah, we'll drag that in. Let's have a look at our stag. Right. There's our stag. Wait a minute. Yeah, hang on. Hang on, that's not right. I had set these up. Ah, they're defaulted. Right. Okay. That's cool. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that this right, so that falls over, and now what we want to do is get our stag. And there it's there. So it's dead animal data. Okay. So we're going to stop that. Let me bring that down. There. And as you can see, we've got dead animal data. Right? Struct dead animal. So I'm gonna have to write some of this down, right? Not just for me, but so that's, it's not that. Is it in here? I wouldn't have thought so. Right, so where's the dead animal data? Not in there. Not in there. Not in there. Not in there. Right, wait a minute, that was not actually called dead animal data, was it? Well, it was called that, right, but it's not necessarily what it's called. Struct dead animal. Right? So the question is, right, it is in here. So there's struck dead animal. That must be it there. Yep, that is it. Right, so row name is going to be pig. It's going to be ground montage. Delay for that is true. That's going to be pig meat, and let's say it gives 5. Right? So we can move our deer out of the way. And we can try it from here. Okay. And hi Jesse, how did you get on with that last night? Right. So I'm guessing this is not the row or the data table that we want. Right, so we're going to go to food types, and that is pig meat. Right. Right. So, yeah, not good. Not good. So what we're going to have to do is go to Mr. BP Pig, and dead animal pig. Then when we skin it, it's food items. Right, well, give me 1 second. Okay, let's have a look at your issue and then we'll come back to this. Okay. So in your pawn, right, when you collide, you're going to have a variable in here, right, in variables, right, that's going to be like coins collected or something like that, okay? And when you collide with a coin, you're basically going to message back to your pawn and say add 1 to collected, right? And then that's going to increment your collection up 1, right? Next, you're going to have another item, which you can store it wherever you like, but you're going to have like a level time limit. So let's say it's 5 minutes, right? And then when they finish, you're going to get the current time, okay, which I showed you last night, which is down here. I think it's game time, right? Get game time in seconds. So you're going to set 2 variables. One is going to be the level time limit, and then the other one is going to be your temp game time. So when the player finishes, you're going to set your temp game time to this value, and then you're going to get the level and then take this away, right? If your answer is positive, greater than 0, then they've done it within the time. If it's not, then they've taken too long. Okay, and that's basically, then you just pass that information to your widget. And that's it. So all you'll do is, if you're just showing your coins and your the time over or under, you'll just create the widget and then just put 2 variables, which is the time over under and the coins collected, and you'll just basically expose them on spawn on your widget. And then basically when you're creating your widget from your pawn, if you're creating it through the pawn, right, or whatever, you just pass those variables in and that's it. And then do what you want in your widget. Simple as that. Right, so what table were we looking at again? So it was dead animal pig. Then we were looking at this food items. Right, so we need to browse to that. Then we go to food items. And you can see we don't have pig meat here, so we need to add pig meat. Right, so pig meat. And we can see pork meat here. Right, we know it's food. Say quantity 1. Then we say stick. It gives our meat stick. Is this going to work? Yeah. Going to say 0.25. And food value 10 can be cooked. Okay. Now it can't be created in the coin because you're going to destroy the coin when you pick it up. It makes sense to keep it in your pawn or your player controller, right? Because that's basically where you're going to be. Your pawn is going to basically not get destroyed, right? So basically you need it somewhere that's not going to be destroyed. You could keep it in the level, but that doesn't really make sense. It's part of the player. It's number of coins the player has. So it's like his inventory, let's say. So it would be you would do it in a structure, right? So if you've got health, you'll have coins collected, you'll have blah blah blah. Now the level timer is up to you, right? I would have it probably in the game instance, but that's a different story if you've never used the game instance. So it would be easier to just use it, keep it in the pawn or whatever until you get to that point. So you can't keep it in the coin blueprint because basically you're going to destroy the pawn, which will destroy the blueprint. So on your collision with the coin, all you'll do is each of your coins will have a reference to the pawn, right? And you'll put a custom event or function I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see what a death and respawn have got to do with coins. Right? It makes no difference. All you need to do, if you're going to respawn coins, you've still got the fact that you want to basically fire a function in the pawn that says add a coin. Right? Now it makes no difference then if you respawn or not, right? Because every time your coin respawns, if you collide with it, you'll just fire the same thing and it'll add another coin. So you can respawn as many times as you want. The pawn is where you want the counter for the coin collection, right? Because it's basically part of your inventory. So where do you store the inventory? In the pawn. It's not really Scroungy Cat, right? Something like that should go in the pawn, right? So your inventory should go in the pawn, or player controller, depends how you set it up. Your structure for like health, energy, hunger, whatever should go in a struct, but it should be in the pawn. Anything that's associated with the pawn should be in the pawn, right? If it's purely level, then you could argue it goes in the level, right? Or you could argue it goes on a per object or per actor basis. It's up to you. Things that are going to be saved across levels should go in the game instance. Things that apply only to a particular level should either go in the level or should go in the game mode or whatever. But I've got a document on that. Right, but at the end of the day, if you're picking up coins, it should just basically fire up some function that increments the coin counter. That's it. End of story. Right? Done it in, if you look at the last playlist, which is Vampire Hunter, that's exactly what I do. Right? You don't pick up coins, but you pick up, what do you call it? Stakes to kill vampires with, and that's exactly what I do. Every time you collide with a stake, you pick it up, right? Destroy. What you do is you just fire off the increment counter, and then you destroy the object. Simple as that. There's no need to make it any more difficult, right? Right. Right. So if you join the stream, hit a like and subscribe. I am going to go and grab a cigarette. I need to do a little bit of a change here because this is cooked pork from a pig. Right, we'll do 0.25. Okay. We've done our, this is not cooked milk, this isn't cooked pork. I'm talking waffle. This is raw pork from pig. Save that. Okay, so if you're enjoying it, hit like, subscribe. I'll be back in a minute. Going to grab a cigarette. Check the links in the description for various stuff, including Discord, personal Discord, Patreon, my previous game on Steam, Kickstarter preview, and website. Don't go anywhere, folks. Alright, we are back. So let's see how we go with this. And as I said, if I get this working with one of them, I'm going to start writing this down for what the steps are to actually do this, so that I don't forget again, because I could probably do this when I did it at the time, but since you're working on so many different things, right, so we get pig meat, we resume that, alright, and there we go. So if we now go into your inventory, pork meat, raw pork from a pig. Okay, and from that we should, in theory, be able to cook this. Right, now this time we should have this. So I'm going to disable that for now. And we should get to here. Right? Because we have the right number, which we do. So that's good. Resume that. Now that's not going to the right place, I don't think. Or is this at a break point? Apparently not. Right, now that isn't moving for some reason. And this isn't drawing our inventory slots for some reason. Right, but at least we are running. Now it looks like our move item isn't doing the move item correctly, and our inventory slots are not being drawn either, which could be an issue. Right, so what we need to do is check on that first. Right, because this fill inventory grid ain't happening. Or in fact, right, wait a minute. Right, what we'll do is we'll do the other one, right? And we'll do it in the actual crafting menu to check if that is actually working or not, right? So this is the crafting, and this just tells us what's in our inventory, right? And that works fine. Okay. Now, the thing about the crafting menu now is that was kind of right, but obviously it's not as well. Right? So this is going to be show all. Right? But we're going to have to do item type. So if it's either of these, we're going to have to do things slightly different. Now, the interesting way we could do this is we could copy this into another function, right? And then just exclude the food. In fact, we're going to have to do that anyway. Right? Yeah, we're gonna have to create a different. Function. And both of these are if you do this one, right, it's going to have to exclude food. Okay, so you're sending a screenshot, are you? Well, I'll tell you what. Right? If I load up this, right, and we'll just wait on that loading up. Right, so we're going to have to change this. Right? And then what we're going to have to do is check if it's food or not. So let me wrap my brain around this for a second. Right, so if it's all types, right? Okay, I'm having a look at this here. Don't like it. No, that's not going to work. Right. It's not going to work because number one, right, you don't want it to do the get game time in seconds every time it collects a coin. Right, let's have a look at this. Right. So this is in the coin blueprint, right? Now, this does not need to be here. Okay? Okay. So let's do something with this, right? Let's do a tutorial. Would you like a tutorial, Jesse? Because I'm afraid you're going to get one. I'm just going to save all this. I know where I am, right? And what we'll do is we'll do it from scratch. Right? Don't know what's going on with that. Close. Right, we'll open our task manager and close this down. Right, I'm not going to open this because this might be done slightly differently, right? Because mine's a bit more complicated, but right, we're going to close down that. Right. Okay. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go to tutorials. Okay, that's not really what... Yeah, it is. It is what I wanted to do. Right, and we're going to do this basically from scratch. It's still only going to take us 2 minutes, but we'll do that. So let's all sing a song while we're waiting. For Unreal Engine 5 to get its finger out. You can record it if you like, it doesn't really matter, it's getting recorded anyway, it's on Steam, it's on YouTube. Right, so this shouldn't take long because there's not much to this project, really. I hope. Right, so we're just waiting on this loading up. Then we'll take it from there. Right, come on. It's really quite annoying when it goes this slow. But we'll get there at some point. Right. That is. Okay, cool. So we've got our player controller, right? And what we're going to do is, in our player controller, and it's actually our pawn, so we're going to go to our pawn, right? And oh my god, it's doing shaders. Right, so there's pecan, right? But that's not actually what we want because we've got a pawn here. So we're going to the pawn, right? Now the question is, there's our player start, that's fine, right? So in our third person controller, right, what we're going to do is we're going to add a variable and we're going to call it coin count. Okay, and that's going to be an integer. Then we're going to compile that and it's going to be start as 0. That's fine. Then we can either do a function or whatever here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a custom function, custom event, right? And our custom event is going to say add coin. Now what we're going to do is just drag in this, right, and say increment right, and that's it as far as the coin count goes, right? Now it depends on whether or not, like for example, the coin count has anything to do with finishing the level, right? So you could do it a slightly different way, right? Now what I could do here is, for example, I could create another folder here, right? New folder, and I'll say coin, right? And then in here, I'm going to create a blueprint. Okay. And it's going to be an actor. And we'll call it BP underscore coin. Right. And we'll rename it to not coin. Okay. Now, the thing is, we're going to open that, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to delete these two. And we're going to add a variable. Okay. And we're going to call it char ref. Right. And it's going to be our third person character. Okay. So on begin play, each coin is going to set itself up. Right. So on begin play, we're going to say get player pawn. Right, and we're going to set this. So we're going to do a cast once. Okay, we didn't want to do that. So we're going to cast that to third person character, right? Now you might have it named something better like my character or my pawn or whatever it is, but whatever you do, right, we've now, oh damn it, we're doing that. Right, you don't need to worry about a cast failure because basically it has to be the third person character, so you have to set that, right? Now what we're going to do is in here we're going to add, let's say, a right, we'll add a static mesh, right? Okay, and our static mesh is going to be a sphere. I don't know what sphere to use here. Right, we'll just go with that. Right, so we've got a sphere, okay, and then you can either set up the collision on the sphere itself, or you know, you can add a collision, block all dynamic, that'll probably do it, right? Collision, block all dynamic, right? We could do an overlap or what? Yeah, we'll just do overlap all, right? We'll compile that, right? We'll drag this in. Okay, and then in our event graph, on our sphere, on event begin overlap, right? You can always do your check here, right? You can either tag your player or check if it is the player or whatever, right? You could check it against the ref char, so you can do that if you like, but it's up to you, okay? But all you'll need to do here is drag in this and say add coin. I believe it was add coin, was that? Was it increment coin? Can't remember. No, it was add coin, one word. So we just want to do add coin. There we go, and that's it. Right? And then what we can do is just say destroy actor. That's going to be self, and that's us. Okay, so that's the first part. Right, so in our pond now, just for a laugh, right, we're going to add an event tick. Now this is something you should never do, but, well, you should avoid at all costs, but we'll just do it anyway. Drag that in, then we'll do a print string. Right, drag that in there, compile that, and then press play. Okay, and we're doing scrolling credits for some reason. Right, so I'm loading a different level or something. Right, I'm showing a widget or something. Right, so in here, on the begin play, right, we can basically cut this here. Right, press play. Well, that's good. Right, so we're doing some weird stuff here, apparently. I wonder if you see that? I ran forward and I picked up one. I just think I don't have a light. Do I have a light in here? Probably not. Right, where's the Unreal Engine 5? Where is your It's not, is it this one? There's a button here somewhere you can add something. Is it actor? It's not that, apparently. Can't remember. How is it you add like a basic item in this? Like if I want to add a light, a directional light. There's one of the, I can't remember what it is. Is it select mode? Nope. Quickly add to the project. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Basic. Directional light. Right, I don't know why it's all dark. Right. So let's check this again. Are we doing anything weird here? No. 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 I must be doing something weird somewhere else. I was checking different widgets obviously, but right, that's coin. Let's have a look. Begin play. Do we have a construction script? Don't think so. That's the standard input. That hasn't been changed at all. Right, so that's weird. Right, so where apparently, right, I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it maps. Then level, we'll say coin, and this is the easy way to do it. I probably didn't want to do that. Probably what I wanted to do was nah, I never do that. We'll just do basic create. Right, that's an easier, faster way to mess around with stuff that I can't remember what I was doing, so it's not quite as straightforward. Right, so I think it's yeah, we can go with that. Yep, that's good. And now tools. Oh god, I forgot where this is. Ah, right, it's this button here, isn't it? Right, basic. Clear start. Right. And then where did I put that coin? In here. Right, so there's a coin. Right. Play. Right, so it must be in our player controller. Right, so we kill that. And we don't need to do anything else, I don't think. There we go. Right. So you'll notice that we've got zeros on the left and boom, ones. Okay? So we can basically, what is it for duplicating? It's Control D. Right? So Control D. Control D. Right? So we can now easily press play. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right? There you go. Simple as it can be. So all that was is setting up the reference to pawn, then calling the function on the pawn, then destroying ourselves. Okay, that's it. Simple as that. Now, for the timer, we would probably do it slightly different, right? But I'm going to give you the how I'm going to do it, right? What I'm going to do is our third person character, right, on begin play, we're going to do something slightly different, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a delay, and this is to allow everything to spawn in, right? This is to allow our coins to spawn in, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to say get all actors of class, right? And we're going to say BP coin. Then we're going to get the length. And then we're going to set our coin count to be that. Right, now I'll show you how this fits together in a second. Now, we're going to compile that and press play. Right, now you'll notice this time it says 4, right, because it's basically counted the number of coins on the screen, right? Now, say what our game was like Pac-Man, right, that the level ends when you pick them all up, okay? Well, that's now really easy for us to do, right? Because all we do now is we decrement it, right? And then what we can do is say if it's greater than, right, if I can find the right button, if it's greater than 0, right, we're going to branch, right, if it's false, we do nothing. Sorry, if it's true, we do nothing. If it's false, right, we do something. Okay? So what we're going to do is in our variables again, right? So we're going to say level time limit, and that's going to be a float, right? And then we're going to say temp time taken. Okay, so let's say we set, we're going to compile this first, right? And let's say we're going to give ourselves 30 seconds, right? So we'll put 30 there. And we're going to set this, right? And we're going to set it to false. So once we finish and pick up all the things, it's going to set this time taken, right? And we're going to say game time in seconds, right? And we're going to do that. Okay. And then we're going to print string. And we're going to put it for, let's say, 40 seconds. 240 is fine, doesn't really matter. We're going to do this in red so it sticks out a bit more. Right, we'll set that to 0. Right. And we're going to say level time limit, get, and then we're going to say minus that, and that's going to tell us how many seconds we had left. Okay, then we're going to get our event tick and we're going to switch this off. Going to compile that, and we're going to run. That's 1 picked up, 2 picked up, and blammo, and there's our number there. Okay, 23 seconds we had left. Okay, and that's it. That's all the code you need to do those two things if you're going to do it that way. If you're going to do it another way, like not necessarily when you've picked up all the coins, you can do it and just get the same code but put it under a different condition, like obviously not on the coin count, but yeah. Do you understand that? So all I've got in the coin is basically setting up the reference to our pawn and then the begin overlap, right? Now you can do your own checks in there, right? To check it to see if the actor that's hit it, well, you just add the variables to the widget. Okay, so you want a widget, right? Well, that's easy enough to do. Right, so we'll add user interface widget, right? And I think it's just user widget you use. And we'll call it finish, right? So we'll go here. Why has this not got a canvas panel in it? Right, so we're going to add a canvas panel right? And then we'll just add two text, right? So we'll add a text there, we'll add a text there, right? And we'll make this to the right hand side or something, right? So x1, we'll make it 2, right? So all we need to do is put txt, I don't know, coins. Now we'd need a separate counter for this, in fact, but I'll just show you how to do this anyway. It's going to say 0, but it doesn't really matter. It's just going to be a variable, right? And basically it's the widget, right? Okay. And this one is going to be text. Well, that's the text coins. Right, that's text coins, that's text, let's say time left. Right, now the easy way to do this is usually right, we're going to delete that, then we're going to add two variables and we're going to say time right, we're going to say coins, and these aren't going to be bools. The time is going to be a float, coins is going to be an integer, right? And both of these we're going to instance editable expose on spawn, right? And then coins instance editable expose on spawn. Then in our graph on construct we're going to get our time left, right? And then we're going to say text set text, right? And then we're going to do this again, Control D, right? We're going to do that. So that was time left, and this is coins. Right, but it's this one here we're getting, the actual widget text, right? So we're going to say that, then we're going to grab that, then we're going to plug our actual coin value in here, right? Then we're going to get our time value, and we're going to plug it in here, right? And that's it. That is the widget done. Okay, so we're going to compile that, then we're going to go back to our third person controller, and instead of doing this, right, I'm going to undo that, right, because I do need one of those two things. We're going to delete that. What we're going to say is create widget, and what do we call it? Was it coin? what did I call that widget? Finish. Right, so the widget's called finish. Right, and you'll notice that now we've got our two variables that we can pass straight into it, right? So all we do is we plug in our time there. Then, now remember, this coin count is going to be 0, right? Because we're counting down, right? But we could set up a max coins at the start when we get all the coins and the length of it. We could set that up as a temp. In fact, let's do that, right? Just to finish it off, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to create, we'll say max coins, right? And that's going to be an integer, right? Then we're going to drag that over here a bit, and then what we're going to do is when we set up, we're going to set this as well, right, to our coin count. But remember, we're never going to update this, so this is only going to get set once, right? So now when we create our widget, we can do max coins, right? We can get max coins, we can plug that in, we can add to viewport, and that's us done, right? So we should be able to press play, and bang, there is our 4 up the top left, and there is our 24.07 time remaining, and there's your widget. Okay, any questions? Any questions in the chat about what I just did there? But that is a very simple how you could set up Pac-Man, right? If you were to do a Pac-Man game and you were collecting coins or you were collecting whatever and you wanted it to basically count down and basically trigger the end of the level when you hit the final one, right? That's an easy way to do it. So you'll notice there was very little code, right? And very little code is a good thing, right? That's all it was, this here. Setting it up at the start, right? Doing a delay, getting all the actors, setting 2 values, and that's it, right? And then when you basically, well, that's all there is. Well, it depends how you're doing it, Jess. I can't cover every single different thing, right? And different method of doing it. I don't know how your game works, right? But what you could do is you could set the timer and then you could check it every second, right? And see if it's over the time, right? So let's say you set a timer that set a timer by function name, right? Just get it to fire every second and then check that the game time is not greater than the level limit. If it is, then you do something, right? Now, it depends, right? Because you could do it like exactly how I've done it here. You've got a time limit, right? But it doesn't stop you finishing the level, right? It doesn't boot you out or do anything like that. All it does is maybe gives you a lower score or whatever, right? But there's lots of different ways you could do this. So I can't cover every single different case scenario, right? Because as I said, it depends on the game, it depends what you want and how you want it to work, right? Now again, this would be different if you were basically booting them out the level, right? If you're booting them out the level, then you wouldn't be able to do it the way that I just did, right? What you'd have to do is get these variables at this point here and add them to your game instance, right? So you'd have to do it different. As I said, I don't know specifically what you're trying to do, so I can't give you an absolute specific answer. What I'm showing you is the basics of how you would do it, right? If you're checking the timer, then just set a function to check every second if they've passed the time limit, and if they have, do something, and if they haven't, let them continue, right? Anyway, hopefully you found that helpful, and I'm going to call it there. So if you've enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe. Check out the links for the usual stuff like Discord, personal Discord, Patreon, and my previous game on Steam, plus our Kickstarter preview and website. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 PM Central Time. Thank you guys for watching. Hope that was helpful. Bye bye for now.